Mike Bohn here at UFC 323 with Grant Dawson, who faces Manuel Torres. And Grant, I flew here all the way from Canada just to debate you on your GSP take. I don't know if you that was pretty bold. No, I'm half teasing, but yes, I don't know if so double it down for us for the people who may not seen it or saw the podcast. What was your welterweight GSP take?
All I said is that Islam Makhachev is the best pound for pound fighter right now. Arguably, you could say John Jones, but there's some asterisks next to his name, and you could say DJ, and I won't argue with you on DJ because he's amazing. But all I was saying is GSP was as good as he was at a different time, right? The guys weren't as big, they weren't as strong, they weren't as fast. If you look at the welterweight division right now, it is, including my own division, it is the most competitive division today. Can you dispute that? And he's beaten everybody. He beat everybody at lightweight, moved up, and I legitimately thought that he was going to lose to Jack. Like, I thought, Dustin did really well. I had Dustin 2-2 going into the fifth. Dustin gets subbed, whatever. This guy's younger, bigger, stronger, good boxing. He's not going to lose mentally. I was wrong. I was very, very wrong. He smashed him. I was so impressed. Honestly, the only guy I can see beating Islam right now, to be completely honest with you, is Morales, and I don't see him winning outside of the first round.
So, if we're doing a hypothetical Islam versus GSP fight, how does GSP's jab and how he was able to kind of control where the fight took place with that? And then obviously his takedown defense was exceptional, his takedown offense. You just feel, how does Islam match up there?
Well, who was his takedown defense great against?
Matt Hughes, not bad.
I think Islam would out-wrestle Matt Hughes.
Sure.
Any day of the week.
Yeah, probably.
Dude, there's videos out there of Islam Makhachev throwing silver medalist Olympic-level wrestlers on their head. You know what I mean? This guy's on another level. And I feel like I'm glazing. Like, I can say this now because he's not in my weight class. Yeah. And look, before he left the weight class, I was like, I'm going to be the best. I'm going to beat that guy. As soon as he left, I was like, whew. One less guy. Now I've got Ilya to worry about, of course, but that's how it goes. But no, do we agree that he probably lost against Johnny Hendricks?
Yes.
Okay, so Johnny Hendricks, we can agree, is not that good, right? So it's just, and everybody, Johnny was juicing. I don't even think Islam needs to juice, man. That guy is a beefcake.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I guess the GSP defender would say, he clearly wasn't a good mental place. That's why he, partially retired the moment after that fight, right? And who knows how that impacts preparation, performance, all that stuff. But, yeah.
Can I just to push back on that a little bit, I promise you that Islam has been in situations where he mentally was not there, and he still showed up and he still won. That's what champions do. And so did GSP. All credit to him. Super dominant for his time, but I was a Packers fan growing up, and I used to think that Brett Favre was the greatest quarterback to ever exist. Brett Favre wouldn't complete a pass today. The level is different, and I think that's what people don't realize. Stuffing Josh Koscheck's blast double, impressive. Completely different than stuffing a chain wrestler like Islam Makhachev.
So how do we do, because if we just go with that, all the fighters who help paved the way for everyone who competes today, the greats of the day of old, they're just going to get left behind in the legacy discussions and all those things, right? But I feel like you need to give some respect to the eras, right? They're only doing with what they had at the time. So how do we balance this conversation knowing that, yes, everyone today would probably kick everyone's ass from the 2000s, but there's got to be some value in the success they had during that time.
There's always value in it, and we wouldn't be where we are without those guys. But we need to get rid of terms like greatest of all time, because I'm telling you right now, John, years from now, when I'm long dead, people will be saying really, John Jones? They all thought he was that good. I'm telling you, we're about to get a ton of kids that could have been in the NFL and decided to do MMA. We're going to go through a period. I'm telling you, we're going to go through a period, maybe not in my time, hopefully not in my time, but where it's not about being a good fighter and mentally tough. It's going to be about being a really good athlete. And you're seeing that. Look at Morales. Look at these guys that are just freak athletes. Joaquin Buckley. What a freak of an athlete, dude. The dude swings as hard as he can for 25 minutes and doesn't get tired. Does he struggle a little bit with wrestlers? Sure. But that dude's an athlete. These guys are so good and so athletic. It's only a matter of time until we're man, Usman wasn't really that good. And that's another guy. He's like 40, and he's still such a good athlete that he's winning fights. You know what I mean? There's no way you can convince me that GSP would beat Usman in his prime.
Ooh, I think that's more interesting. The Usman of prime?
The Usman that fought Colby Covington the first time, you think that GSP beats that guy? No.
I think he had have a decent chance. I don't know.
He's got a chance.
I think that's a pretty competitive fight.
How would he win?
I think he could jab Usman for 5 rounds if he wanted to and keep away from the take. And I feel like that version of Usman, though, is wanting to stand and strike as opposed to wrestling hard. I know they had some exchanges, but...
We've seen Usman wrestle, though. We've seen Usman get the takedown, and we've also seen GSP when he couldn't get the takedown, when he couldn't just keep somebody at the end of his punches. And to go back to that, I feel like he struggled with Johnny Hendricks because he couldn't take him down, and he couldn't establish his jab because he was a southpaw. And what is Islam? A much better version of Johnny Hendricks. Much better. Maybe a little less power, but you see what I'm saying.
Yeah, the Islam one, I guess I'm conceding a little more. I'm now thinking of the Usman fight. I do think, like, how many times have we seen Usman on his back? Do you think GSP would be able to take him down and keep him there?
So Khamzat Chimaev got him down. First round, dominated him. Totally get it. Took it on 4 days' notice. Passed his prime to another guy who's arguably one of the best fighters in the world. Pound for pound, maybe like number 3, would you say, Khamzat? Maybe he's got a little more to go, but he's got the potential to be there. And then Khamzat couldn't take him down in the second round, gets him down at the end, and I believe in the third round he stuffed all the takedowns. I might be wrong on that.
Yeah, he did.
And then, don't quote me on this, I believe it was a split decision? Or
majority decision.
Majority decision. So that means that he got 10-8'd in the first round, and one judge gave him rounds 2 and 3, right? Because then it was a draw, because nobody got a point taken away. And Usman clearly didn't win a 10-8 round, you know? So he's stuffing that guy's takedown, who's now the 185-pound world champion, undefeated, out-wrestling everybody. Struggled with Usman on 4 days' notice. In his prime, Usman's out of his prime. I don't think GSP gets a single takedown.
Interesting. Well, George, the challenges that we need.
Well, my ass. I'm not saying me, but I'm.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think all this is fair. I'm just wondering now, like, so do you have Islam as like the MMA GOAT now, all things considered, or is it too soon for that?
I don't know about GOAT. It's really hard for me to say. See, this is the problem. GOAT means greatest of all time. I think we need to change that to greatest of our time. And you could say John Jones, totally agree. You could say DJ when he was still fighting, totally agree. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, if you want to go greatest of all time, it's probably DJ, right? It's probably John Jones. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about who wins today, skill for skill, athlete for athlete. And I think that if Islam and John Jones were the same size, I'd like to see it, man. I mean, I thought Reyes beat Jones, so it's just.
Yeah, it's all. I mean, Islam does have a knockout loss on his record too, though. It's tough. I mean, you could pick hairs at any of this. I just find I did find the comments interesting.
But I think I know what you're saying. Yeah, I saw those too. But I think that a knockout loss in the first round, the first half of the first round, doesn't mean as much as getting your ass kicked for 3. Does that make sense? Like, anybody can get caught. If me and you fought right now, I'd be a huge favorite. There is a chance you could catch me on the way in. And
I know about that one. Maybe the guillotine. Dustin could tell me.
You got a better chance with the punch. Trust me. Bobby Green knows.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man. I mean, I love having these conversations like about the legacy in the sport. I just don't want our past legends to be minimalized in any way, because I feel like they don't get the appreciation from the UFC that they deserve.
We're not forgetting these guys. It's like great tacticians in war, like they're better than the tacticians of old, but they're only that good because they've learned from those mistakes. They've learned from those battles. They've learned from people making the mistakes and those men dying, and now they know, hey, we don't do this. And so I totally get what you're saying, but if you said that GSP and Islam Makhachev in their primes fought at 170, I'm taking Islam.
And I don't hate that. I mean, as the Canadian here, I feel like I have to defend GSP a little bit, but I've been, a supporter, seen like the potential in Islam for a long time, and it's kind of coming to fruition. And yeah, it's all about how many times do you do this too, right? Like, you do this enough times, you're going to lose. Like, that's what I find so remarkable about Islam. 16 straight fights without, feeling sick one day, showing up like crap, terrible weight cut, let alone getting poked in the eye, kicked in the balls, a robbery decision. Like, there's a million things that could happen. So to do that streak is, I mean, him and Anderson are in that special lore with 16 straight.
Very, very, very impressive. Anderson's another one. He was destroying everybody. And GSP in his prime wouldn't go up to fight Anderson. They were trying to make that fight. I don't know if the UFC was trying to make it or if Anderson was just trying to make it. He wouldn't go up and fight him. And then Anderson stuck around too long, ended up losing a bunch and kind of tarnished his thing. The same thing would have happened to GSP. I promise you that after he beat Bisping, if he had defended against Robert Whittaker, I promise you he would have lost that fight.
That would be an interesting one at that time too. I don't know.
Robert Whittaker in his prime, Yoel Romero couldn't take him down.
No, this is true.
Couldn't take him down. Couldn't knock him out. Like, how? Like, Whittaker would destroy GSP at that time.
Destroy, huh?
Yes.
I don't know if he would destroy. Maybe, I don't know. It's so hard to say because GSP's.
So many haters.
I like the discussion. I feel like this should be an episode of my podcast, but we'll maybe do that down the line. But no, this is a great discussion, and I guess we'll talk about your fight. I mean, I said the other quote that's out there. I see what you're gonna leg hump him for 4 minutes of the first round, or are we joking? I just saw something on the Twitter feed. Is that the game plan here?
To take him down?
I thought you said I'm going to hump his leg for 4 minutes because that's being his longest fight and see what happens after that. Was that I thought I saw a quote of I thought I saw something like a clip on the Twitter.
I'm going to hump his leg for as long as I have to. I don't know. I mean, if it's 4 minutes, great. If it's all 5 or all 3 or 5 rounds, 3 rounds, I don't really care. But I don't think I tweeted that. Maybe.
No, I think it was maybe an interview where you said his longest fight is 4 minutes. So I'm going to hold him down and then we'll see what happens after those 4 minutes or something like that.
Well, and it's just it's so. I was doing it. I think it was the same interview as the GSP interview, and I was like, "Look, man,
you're on fire that day."
Yeah, I was. I was like, "Look, man, if I lose this fight, we all know how it's going to be. I'm going to get knocked out in the first 3 minutes. I'm going to wake up looking at the ceiling. I totally get it, And if I win this fight, I'm probably going to have taken him down, choked him out, or wrestled him the whole time. He's an insanely dangerous fighter. Probably definitely the most dangerous guy I've fought for sure. Might be one of the most dangerous guys in the division. And we don't really know a whole lot about him. I think you can watch all of his fights in 12 minutes. So it's like he's lived by the sword, died by the sword. I'm just going in and hoping he dies by the sword.
Were you expecting a different fight than this? Or, I mean, I positioned it well. It was originally on the early prelims. Now it's the featured one, so you are getting the shine in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, I never know anymore. I win a fight. I do the quarter off my wife's dump truck, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I'm getting Michael Chandler next. This clip's going viral. Everybody loved it. Like, I'm getting Michael Chandler next. I'm getting, Beneil Dariush, whoever. And it just, then they throw, who. I never know who I'm going to fight because I'm always like, okay, this makes sense. This makes sense. And then they're like, how about this guy on a 2-fight win streak? And I'm like, all right, I'll fight him. Okay, 3-fight win streak. Beat 3 really good vets, it's got to be a ranked guy now. It's like, how about this guy on a 1-fight win streak who's super dangerous, can probably knock you out in 10 seconds? All right, I'll take it, They offered me Joel Alvarez, which I said yes to, and I believe Joel said yes as well, and then he ended up talking with his team, and he should go up. He absolutely should go up. I think he's going to do fantastic at welterweight as long as you keep him away from the really, really grindy wrestlers. Super exciting guy. Was really, really pumped for that challenge. Okay, this is the guy. This is the guy that can sub me, knock me out, and hang with me in the grappling. Now we get to test that. And then it was Manuel Torres, who, to be honest with you, is very similar to Joel. So it's I think Joel's a little bit better, a little bit more clean, but dude, Manuel is dangerous. I can't say enough good things about him.
Well, they better give you someone good if you beat him. What's your thoughts on Patty and this fight for the interim title that we're getting with Justin Gaethje next month?
Yeah, look, the UFC is going to do what the UFC is going to do. They made a sport that was considered, human cockfighting and turned it into a multi-billion-dollar organization. So I'm never going to argue with a decision that the UFC makes. They know what they're doing. I think Patty beats Gaethje, to be honest with you, and I think we're going to see him and Ilya fight at some point. So I'm excited about that. I don't want to copy what he said, but he said nobody owes anybody anything, and I agree with that. Nobody owes Patty anything. Nobody owes Arman anything. Now, is there what you should do and what you shouldn't do? For sure, but at the end of the day, I'm not working at McDonald's right now because the UFC has given me more money than I've ever made in my entire life or ever will make in my entire life again. So if they want me to fight behind for another 25 fights, I'll do it. I'm a company man. I think they make the right decisions.
What do you think they'll do with Arman?
I think him and Max will fight.
Really? You don't think Max and Charles?
I think it'll be him and Max, but I know I'm teammates with Arman. That is just a guess. That is not like he said anything. Nobody has told me anything. That is just if I was the UFC, I would do Max and Arman for the interim belt, and then the winner of Patty and Gaethje is a normal fight, and they get the next shot if Ilya doesn't come back. But it just makes sense to me. We've already seen Charles and Max.
So long ago, though, and the fight ended very early.
Absolutely. And is it a great fight? It's a great fight. But I just want to see somebody push Arman. He's looked so invincible right now. I'm pretty sure his last loss was to my other teammate, Mateusz Gamrot, who's an absolute stud. I want to see two guys that haven't fought before. You know what I mean? I want to see two of the top-level guys. And that's Max and that's Charles for sure. But it's like, I want to see somebody get in there and push Arman, and it's not going to lose to him mentally. And I still think Arman wins. I still think he wins that fight for sure. But it's such an intriguing matchup to me because Max isn't going to get tired. He's not going to get scared. He's not going to get knocked out or wobbled or anything like that. I think it's a really, really great fight for the fans.
Yeah, it would be an interesting one. I feel like Ilya Topuria might push Arman, just do that fight for the title. But I don't know, do either of Gaethje or Patty, do you give them a shot versus Ilya, or is this just setting up another win for him?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Like, do you give Gaethje or Patty a shot against Ilya in a unification fight? Yeah, like when to beat him.
No. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be nice about it, but no, I don't. I don't think anybody. I think it's going to take a really, really good wrestler to beat Ilya Topuria right now. Arman. Me. I can do it. I can do it, guys. Just give me my shot.
That's a great way to end it. Great. Thank you for the debate. Good times.
Yeah.